Kindle e-reader or Kobo e-reader. Oh. What do you think is better? All right, that was a fun intro, but seriously, there are some times when the paperback comes in versus an e-ink device. And as you know, I am known as having a lot of e-ink devices. I actually brought the iPad down, but I also have the Onyx books, Tab X. I always say Tab C or Ultra. It's actually the Tab X. This actually is a good reading device. But when do you need these? When do you need a paperback device? Let's kind of go through them. So I personally like the Kobos versus the Kindle. I've always just liked the little form factor, but the Kindle Paperwhite works. They're good for just general casual reading. I use them just kind of when I'm sitting around. As you can see, I got the complete Mazalon Book of the Fallen here. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I actually, that series is what I want to talk about. This is the first book in the series by Steve Erickson. This is Gardens of the Moon. And literally, you can see how thick that is. This is just a tome of a book. And so I started that, and I've got it on a couple Kobos here. I have the Kobo, the different Kobo Clara, the Kobo, I think it's a Sage, the Clara, and the Libra. And these are great devices. I've always liked Kobos. If you want an alternative to Amazon, really great. In fact, the Kobo Clara, which is the little one, I actually enjoy probably the best. I put it by my bed. I can read it. And like in the video, the great thing about most of these are they are waterproof. And you can, you know, if you're in the shower, in the rain, or I don't think the shower, but in the jacuzzi like I was, or the hot tub, you can read these. The Kindles, again, are great too. If you've got a lot of big Amazon Kindle library, the Kindle books work. And of course, if you want to take some notes, the Kindle Scribe is a good device for that. Again, if you really want to step up your game, you go into Onyx Books. And on this device, I actually have my Kobo and my Kindle. So I have them both on here, could take notes and really utilize that for reading. But when it comes to paperback, right? I'm old school. In fact, I get my reading glasses here. I actually need to wear glasses. And so when I sit down to read something that's epic, something that I really want to get my teeth into, there's a couple things that I do. First is I like to get the book, okay? So I get the book, and I enjoy reading a paperback book. There's just something about it. I think it goes back to me being kind of a nerd in my Dragonlance days growing up and reading so much fantasy and fiction when I was a kid. And I don't know, there's just something about it. I know environmentally, it's better to go with the Kindle. You know, you're not wasting all this paper, but there's just something mentally connecting me to the book, just like pen and paper. That's why I like the Remarkable 2. I don't have that down here. Or the Onyx device. I think the Remarkable 2 has a little bit better touchy feel to me. That hand to the device, you know, where it's almost paper and pencil. There's something about that. You know, I've always heard that, you know, when you write with your hand, here's a Kindle Scribe as kind of an example, you're writing with your heart. When you're typing with your head. And I do believe that, even though, you know, as a writer, as you know, I'm a writer of books, a lot of nonfiction. I typically type a lot, but I do handwrite a lot of notes. In fact, our planner over at morningcoach.com, you know, the Get It Done Now planner that we've built and that we're improving for 2024, I can't wait for this one, is based on handwriting. We did team up with Evernote, which gives us some software. But again, handwriting, reading an old typical book, there's just something about it that connects you to it. And I want to know more from you in the comments. As I say, this community is more than a channel. You know, what are you reading with? You know, do you want me to review more Kindles? Do you want me to go through these and tell you what the best one is, or what do you use? I'm willing to do that. I personally don't like the iPad. I have an iPad mini too, but I don't like to read on it. I don't like that glossy look. And I know you can put the paper-like on there. If I have one device, I've always said it's the iPad. I love my iPad, but I don't like reading on it. And so when I really want to delve into something, again, back to Mazalon, right? These huge books, right? These tomes of a fantasy series. And if you know, I haven't bought the whole series, but if you do, it's like this. It's like, I mean, it's huge. It's 3 million words, I believe. I want to read this. And so I started reading it, and you can see it right here. It's on I have the whole complete book on this Kobo, right? You can see it there. And I started to read it, and I don't know, I got through the first book, I got through this book, and there was just something missing, you know? I'm heading to Colombia And that's a place where these work that travel. I've got to speak to 500 entrepreneurs. I'm excited about that. And that's where, grabbing your little Kobo or your Kindle is great because you just throw it in your backpack or, your travel luggage and you're not carrying this around. But again, I think I'm going to take this with me just because there's something about writing in it. Now, some people say, what about taking notes in the book? I typically don't write in the books. Every once in a while, I'll put the date that I read something in nonfiction because I want to know that I read it. And that's sometimes that I'll use it. But typically, I'm not writing in my books. I'm writing on my Remarkable 2 or in my Onyx, right? Or my Kindle Scribe, whichever device that I'm, currently using at that time because I'm testing all the time for the channel here. But paper is really important to me. It's still something that when I need it. Now, side note, when I'm learning something, another thing that I do is I'll get the book and the audiobook. Typically not with fiction, but with nonfiction, and I'll listen to the audiobook at the same time I read, and I put it up to 2 times speed. This really makes you listen fast. I mean, it just makes you comprehend better. And I've done speed reading a lot on here, but I do not enunciate the words. I do not try to say the words in my mind, like see Dick run, Dick runs fast, the way we were taught. It's actually the wrong way. The way you teach speed reading is to stop enunciating, stop saying those words in your head. But if you have somebody reading and you kind of get it up to the chipmunk speed, you can crank through books. It really does help with your comprehension. Okay, if I'm speed reading something, then I'm just going to look at it and pace, and I can get maybe 90%, right? The key is focus and environment. I don't want to make this about speed reading, but it is about focus and environment. Otherwise, you're distracted. I don't know if you've ever been reading and you're like, man, I got to go back and read that chapter again. It's because your brain is moving too fast and you're reading at a slow speed. It's because you're ahead of it. But that's a whole other video. You want me to do more on that? I'll do more speed reading videos. I've done a few. But at the end of the day, this video is about when do we use paper? Paper comes into play when it's something you really want to get into. It's something that, for me, it goes back to being 54 years old, kind of taking me back to my childhood, feeling the texture of this book, being able to break that spine, read it and just get into it. When do I grab these? In bed. Okay, that's a great one. In the jacuzzi. And you can actually keep up, right? So if you read a chapter, you can go, move to where you're at. That's always a good thing. And by the way, that's another thing for those of you that easily are distracted. Read a chapter and then stop. Don't stop in the middle of the chapter. Try to force yourself to the end of the chapter. But obviously, because these are backlit or frontlit or whatever the technology is of the current device, there's backlit, frontlit, all kinds of different lighting. Sitting down and reading this, in bed really works. And again, I typically like a smaller one, even though I do like some of the Kobos, right? These are good. When it comes to the Scribe, it's just a little big for kind of just, hanging in there. And same way with the Onyx. These are great for technical manuals. By the way, I always said the Onyx books, Max Lumi was always the best for technical manual. Even way back when I didn't really like their software, I still said it was the best. If you're gonna be reading technical manuals, these things really do work. But for me, number one, I would say is if it's something I really want to get into, I'm going to buy the book, support the author. I've already got the audiobook also. I've been reading it, but I'm delving into this, and this is a very deep book. Have you read Mazatlan, by the way? Have you read this fantasy series if you're a nerd like me? I know we got a lot of Dungeons & Dragons guys out there and women that are into this stuff, so let me know what you're thinking. If you've ever got into this series, I'd like to know in the comments. But I'm getting into this book. So you can see paperback for me is when I want to get into something deep. If I'm in bed, traveling, don't want to carry the book around, then I've got this. Or obviously on my Onyx Books Max, or Onyx Tab X, I have the Kindle and the Kobo, and I can actually read it there. So let me know in the comments below, which one are you using? You want me to get into these devices a little bit more? I'm more than happy to do a review on each of them, but I think, this group specifically that is here on the YouTube channel, our community here, most of these devices, but I'll do it. But I kind of want to know your opinions on when you read paperback, or if you've just totally gone paperless. That would be good to know too. Have you just totally gotten rid of it? Let me know. Hopefully there's some tips that helped you with the speed reading, maybe listen to audio and the book at the same time. That's what this channel is about. It's really about the energy more than anything, sharing some of that with you. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and let me know what you think in the comments. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching to the end. You are amazing. If you want to subscribe, hit that face up there. Yep, that's me. By the Cuddly Dudley. That's actually from WGN, the 1960s. Or hit that, there's going to be a video here. That's the next one YouTube is suggesting that you watch. As always, thanks for the support. Go have a fantastic